This week I've been struggling to figure out how to bring in the show. I must have written 2 or 3 intros over the course of the week before I landed on an idea. Now, you're going to hear us talk about change and how it affects different aspects of life. So the other night, I asked my oldest kids what the word change means. My son immediately just said, like changing clothes. And my daughter piggybacked on that idea and said, when you paint a new color on the walls. In that moment, I hadn't really thought about the impact of their answers, which I'll get to in a minute. So I prodded them some more. I asked them if they change anything about themselves. My daughter thought about it and said no, which as a dad made me happy to hear. My son wants to change his eyelashes because they're too long. Now, I don't know why that's important to a 7-year-old, but it's not that big of a deal. I honestly think he was just busting my balls, but I digress. It took me almost a day to realize the depth of how my kids had answered. I asked them what change means, and they gave me simple, honest answers without a second thought. To them, change is something simple. It's cut and dry. It was one thing, and now it's different. They're too young to have any outside noise or influence on their opinions. Change for adults is much more complicated, because over the course of our lives, we've attached meaning, sentiment, and self-worth to all aspects of ourselves. Change is about making a decision to do something about a part of ourselves. It could be a physical change, a philosophical shift, or a professional adjustment that we're facing. But it always comes down to making a decision. We need to decide to be open to an opinion that differs from our own, or be willing to admit there's a better way than your way, or realize that you're not as healthy or as smart or attractive as you think. If you believe in a cause and vehemently argue its merits, it's because there's some personal meaning to you and you've made a decision to defend it. You are essentially defending a piece of yourself. No matter the subject or how far-reaching, a shift in culture boils down to personal meaning and a decision to change an aspect of ourselves. An unwillingness to change says just as much about your character as having an open mind. I'm not arguing that blindly agreeing to change is right, but rather being willing to listen and open to the idea that something could be better. 3 minutes ago, you made a decision to listen to this podcast, and right now you're making a decision to continue because maybe, just maybe, you'll hear something that makes you look at the world and yourself a little different. At the very least, you'll probably just get offended and have a few laughs along the way. So let's change the pace, buckle up, and get this thing going. Maestro, hit it.
All right, welcome back to Needless to Say. I'm here with 3 graduates of the Jussie Smollett School of Drama and Performing Arts.
I didn't get paid for this.
But our 3 esteemed graduates are here with us. That would be Dave, Mike, and Craig after a 2-week delay. But we're here on a Sunday morning to boot.
Yes.
Yeah, we are refreshed. We
Definitely.
look good.
Everybody looks good. Everybody looks healthy.
We don't look beaten up like we do every Friday night.
And if we tried to record last Friday, everybody would have looked way worse than ever.
Everybody was fucking sick.
30 minutes of coughing and sneezing.
Yeah.
Which is about our average.
I did notice when you said that we look good and we feel better, you didn't once glance at my direction.
Yeah. I got to say, 2 weeks, it doesn't sound like a lot of time. No. But in just 2 weeks, Mike moved up 7 spots on the TSA watch list. You have to see this fucking
It's my beard. It's my beard and stash. I just let it go.
I feel like you should be leading goats through a rocky cliff.
Yeah.
I've done that before.
With the walkie-talkie in his pocket.
What a walkie-talkie in his pocket.
Collecting tin cans for landmines.
Yes, that would make good ID. It's terrible.
So, I'll say it. How was our 14 days?
Long.
God.
It was long, definitely.
Yeah.
It's funny because it doesn't seem like it was that long, 2 weeks, but it's weird not recording that long because we've been so consistent.
That's the one thing
so
we've been
long.
good with.
It's consistency.
Our shows haven't been consistent, but our attempts to do them have.
Showed up and done it.
Yeah, it was fucked up to not do it that long. But we did in the middle make some food porn. Brad and I made a video.
Well, before we get into that, is everybody feeling better? 75% of the show was infirmed.
Yeah.
Yes.
You guys
Oh, yeah.
were fucking sick.
I
dude.
was sick as a motherfucker.
I mean,
Me
you
too,
you
big
would
time.
never get sick, and you were sick. Mike is
Yeah.
always sick, so nobody was shocked.
No, but I was extra sick,
But it was
man.
it
That
was like
bad.
the perfect storm. Like all three
Yeah,
of us,
all
three
three
of the
of
four
us.
of us,
Fuck.
all,
Yeah.
pretty much at the same time got hit hard.
Yeah.
I was laid up pretty bad the first 3 days, but I usually recover fairly quickly from colds. You know, so by day 5, I was good to go. Friday night, I would have been tired and drained, but I wasn't nasally anymore, and things were getting better.
No?
You know,
Really?
I think so. No, but I mean, I was getting better, but we were better off not doing it.
Well,
that
you
night.
gave it to Mike.
Yeah.
According to Mike, you
Oh,
gave
yeah,
it to
I did.
him via like
Super Bowl.
Facebook Messenger.
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
via Super Bowl.
yeah.
Yeah.
That
Exactly
wasn't
what
it.
did you
Yeah,
guys
it
do
was.
at the Super Bowl?
Right?
Were you that happy about
Someone
a
scored.
fucking punting exhibition?
Oh shit! Oh, I'm just
fumbling his
glad. I'm
tonsils.
glad it's over. Fuck you.
Mike, how are you feeling?
I'm
Like I
feeling
need
a
to
lot
ask.
better, man. A lot better.
That's good because you don't look better. you look,
I know.
you gotta trim that beard.
I'm not doing it.
You
I
look
don't
like
give
a struck
fuck.
match.
I-
Right
I'm not doing it. This fucking thing's going all the way. I don't give a fuck. I was so sick. I was like, fuck it. I ain't shaving. I'm not shaving today. I'm not shaving tomorrow. And then after a while, I was like, fuck it. I ain't shaving.
If
That
you
was
stand
3 years
on-
ago.
If you stand on your head, you look like Sanford and Son.
Both of them.
Oh my god!
Fucking asshole.
Oh shit!
He would start running away on his hands. Lamont, get back to work.
Oh, 2 weeks. So glad to be back, guys. Thanks.
So what was it like
Awesome.
taking care of that kid in the woods for fucking 3 days?
What do you mean taking care of that kid?
As if some kid in the news said a bear took care of him in the woods for 3 days. That was you.
That was one of our headlines from 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, the bear, yeah.
I never thought we'd make that relevant. Nicely done. Nicely done. Now, Dave had the best diagnosis of anything this week. Normally we get, guys, I'm not feeling it. I'm a little under the weather. Dave's flat out. I got hives.
Yeah.
Yeah, I look contagious, right? I look like Deadpool out of costume.
Yeah.
I was telling you guys that every couple years I'm good for a good like sickness, and at the end of it, that's what happens to me. Like as the sickness passes, I break out in hives, and that's what happens.
Yeah,
and
that's fucked up.
I could have recorded like vocally, but I was so uncomfortable. I just wanted to like scratch out of my skin. It was awful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But on
that's-
top of that, just like all the medicine and everything, I've been sick for almost 3 weeks, and like I feel like I've lived in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Like my asshole looks like Big Ange from Mob Wives.
Oh, God.
Where like I could get sympathy from a baboon right now if it's on my ass.
We'll be putting pictures up on the Facebook page. shortly after the show.
Seriously, like I sneezed last week and I had to go change my pants.
I hope it doesn't look like she does right now. Rotted and fucked up.
Oh my god!
Didn't she die like 2 years ago?
Probably look better than when she was alive.
No, that's horrible.
Yeah.
Poor Big Ange.
Poor, she's on her way here right now.
Yeah.
She'll destroy this house. Oh my god!
I didn't know she could push.
Oh shit.
Anyway, so Craig, you were mentioning, we decided, Craig and I last week, because Craig was feeling better. He was on day 7 at that point.
Yeah.
So he had gotten the herpes right out of his system.
Yep.
And he came over to check out my car, which was once again on 3 wheels because 4 is ostentatious.
Yeah. You know.
And so we were hanging out in my driveway, and he mentioned something about a local comedian, Derek Furtado,
Yeah.
who was doing this weird kind of, he wanted to go viral. He wanted to do something fun on the internet. And he said, I'm going to take cinnamon raisin bread and shredded cheddar cheese, and I'm going to pop it in the microwave.
Yeah, he had seen somebody do it. I guess he was at a friend's house.
Oh, all right.
And his friend had done it. And he was like blown away by it. He was calling it this devil sandwich and and all this shit. And he was like blown away by it.
It wasn't a joke. His friend did it because
No,
that's
his
what he
friend
did.
did it. And he was
Yeah.
like, that's fucking disgusting. So he made a comment about it. Then he made a second comment about it. And then finally, so many people had responded to that finally he was like, hey, if I can get 10 people to make a video, like about this sandwich, I'll make one myself. So me and Brad were talking about it. We were at his car, and we said, fuck it, let's make a video. because we've never done it before on the show.
We figured 2 minutes. Let's just do something stupid about us being us, throw our logo on there, and to be done with it.
Yeah.
2.5 hours later,
Yeah.
we had 2 cameras, 2 different iPhones set up just to get that one stupid shot.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was
outside.
funny. I saw that. I was like, oh, this
We
is fucking
had to
great.
get that
I
one
laughed a
turn
lot.
and thumbs up.
Yeah, that was great.
And then my favorite part was when we bit into it. It was like it was melted an hour ago because
Oh,
it was
God.
at that point. It
was
melted
all
an
hot.
hour ago.
The best is I intentionally said plump raisins again. I had said it before when we were joking around, and Brad could not fucking retain a laugh when I would say that. So I had to say it when we were filming. We were doing. I'm like, those are some plump raisins. And Brad's face immediately goes this. He tries
Just lost it.
He's went full Jimmy Fallon in the middle of the
It,
skit.
it was ridiculous because Craig, I don't know if he knows this, but Craig and hard consonants are good friends. And so Craig accentuates every hard consonant. And he came through and he's like, plump. And that shit just translates. I'm sitting here trying to put on this hokey cooking show thing, like we're doing like a Today Show 2-minute
Yeah.
cooking segment. And you just say, those are some plump raisins. Right? I lost it. And then I took your line.
Yeah.
And you took mine.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was a real professional production.
It
My
was
wife's in the
horrendous.
other room just shaking her head. I can't believe I support this from
came
my
out great.
43-year-old husband.
Right?
came out
Exactly.
But the video did well.
It did well.
We're getting, we rushed it out because we were worried that it was going to be like, oh no,
Yeah.
we're not going to get it in time.
Yeah.
As it stands, 2 weeks later, we're at 3 different videos.
3 different videos.
So I still think ours is the best.
And it was just funny because it was ridiculous. We were using all his wife's shit. We're in the cabinets, and she's just sitting on the couch like, God damn it! We even got this really expensive fucking thing to cover the stuff.
We've got this cookware that's costs more than my marriage. This Le Creuset shit. Okay, and it just was the perfect height and depth to pick up and say ta-da. But the best part of that moment wasn't the expensive cookware. It was the fact that you did the cut, and those cuts in the video made it funnier. The fact that it wasn't perfectly edited. At one point, I had my hand on the lid, and then my hand just juts 4 inches.
Jets forward, and then we want let's go to the counter. And then it just chops to us, picking like wicked hammy, like picking it up, looking at the camera and turning it around.
Well, because the first time we didn't bring the food, we're like, let's go to the counter. We left all the food behind us.
It was fucking funny. But
the-
I thought it was better leaving the choppy cuts and shitty things in.
Yeah.
It was funny.
Yeah,
made
it worked. It was
funnier.
perfect.
If
Yeah.
there was a microcosm for every episode of this show, it's choppy cuts, and that's exactly
Yeah,
where we're
So
at.
that so that food video is probably the reason we have followers in Uganda now.
No, it's Ghana.
Ghana,
Yeah,
Ghana.
we broke into the dark continent this week.
They would kill their fucking grandmothers for a fucking cinnamon raisin cheddar
that's
cheese
what I'm
sandwich
saying.
right now.
That's right.
They're probably all sitting around the freaking an
would be
iPhone somewhere.
critical of the
and
microwave.
Trying to
watching
eat it with just their mouths like they're bobbing for apples because their forearms have been chopped off by fucking machetes.
Stay tuned for next week's episode, Blood Diamond.
Damn warlords! Some bitch and warlords again.
That might have been a little much. I'm sorry.
But welcome to all of you in Ghana. If you ever actually see an airplane someday, come see us. Just start waving. They'll flag it.
Yeah, that's fine. Don't throw spears at it.
This isn't devil work.
Yeah.
Join us next week when we talk about Siberian child pornography.
It's a cold subject.
Jesus.
Aren't they Siberian? They're all bundled up. They wear the Garanimals hoodies.
There's a lot of pushing and no penetration.
Every cum shot ends with Oshkosh Bagosh.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Turns to steam in midair. So cold. Vaporizes and falls to the ground. Like,
For some reason, a bear's there.
Oh my god! I was not there. I swear. Oh my god! A lot of pushing, but no penetration.
What concerns me most about this isn't the fact that we just riffed for a minute on Siberian child pornography. It's that in the deep, dark recesses of Dave's head, those were the 3 words that naturally went together.
Those are some plump raisins.
Oh shit. That's fucking.
I would have fucked the Sunmaid girl. Just with the complete side topic. I would have
Yeah.
fucked the
Oh, hell
shit
yeah.
out of her.
Yeah. Grab him by those ponytails.
I would have. They would have been grapes again when I was done with her.
Oh my
Jesus Christ.
Oh, 2 weeks.
Okay.
Feels good. Thanks, guys. Fucking needed this one.
All right, so how was our weeks?
Yeah, I know. Can we start now?
So we're all diseased and sick.
Yep.
And those aren't
Oh,
the same
by the
things.
way, congratulations to your football team. By the way,
Oh, yeah.
For what? Winning?
for winning the
3
fucking
weeks ago?
Yeah, well, this is the first time we fucking talked about it
sir.
after the fact.
I had no idea you were a big fan
Yes,
of
sir.
the AAF's Orlando Phantoms.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey,
No,
AAF's not
that
bad.
was
One
the
to watch, man.
what did I see yesterday? The Salt Lake City Pegasuses. What the fuck is that team?
Pegasai.
Pegasus.
Pegasus.
How were they not the Stormin' Mormons?
The Salt Lake City White Power.
It's actually, I mean, it's football.
It's
It
fun
is.
to watch.
And there's actually some of the names of guys playing I recognized. Like Trent Richardson was a running back, played for a while.
Yeah.
It seems like the
Matt Asiata, I think, played for the Vikings for
Yeah,
a few years.
yes, he
Like,
did. Yes, he did.
some of those, I heard those
Asiata,
names
yeah.
during the game. I was like, all right, so this is not like a no talent.
everybody
What was
that used to
missing
play
though,
for the
than what you
Vikings.
used to, there was no crowd noise. There was none of that. So
Yeah.
it didn't lend itself to that exciting feel. Do you know what I mean? Like when you hear crowd
Yeah.
noise and things, it kind of gets you into the game a little
It
bit.
had a preseason vibe to it. It
It
really
did.
did.
Yeah.
It did.
But but that's going to come with time because it's
has
everybody's expecting the original XFL or arena football out of it. Arena football
Totally different.
is totally different.
Yeah,
It's
more
ridiculous.
show.
It was ridiculous.
That's like the roller derby of football.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
dumb. I like the AAF. I like the idea of it because, football is America's national pastime.
Yes.
So let's have more football.
Let's have more football.
I'm all for it. And plus, another thing that's happening is the NFL's athletes are getting better.
Yep.
They're lasting, even linemen, which average about 5 years, just 10, 15 years ago, their careers were only 5, 10 years long. The training regiments have gotten so good now that they're actually lasting 12 to 15 years,
Yeah.
which means there's less room for other
Right.
deserving players.
Right.
A lot of those guys in the AAF would have been good secondary, third down kind of guys in the
Yeah.
NFL.
Don't need 'em.
Not that long ago.
But yeah, but they don't need them.
There's no room on these rosters.
There's no-
And not
Yeah.
just think about the refs too. Refs looking for jobs in the NFL
But not-
too.
yeah.
Coaches,
Salary
everything.
caps.
You
a
know,
lot of the coaches are familiar.
Salary
too.
cap. I think that there's a room for a second league. We tried this with the USFL back in the 80s and it failed. It lasted a few years, but it failed. But at least the USFL was attracting major league talent. The AAF is a feeder league. They've made it very clear.
And
Yeah.
they've said that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're not shying away from it, which is
No,
fine. And
which
it's
is good. If you-
it's off season, right? There's still a desire for it. And like Craig said, it needs a while to build. I think.
Kurt Warner
Yeah.
was an arena football guy. Ended
Yeah.
up winning how many Super Bowls with the Rams?
Yeah.
Okay, so there is a way to prove yourself in this, and I like that. And suddenly, I kind of want to watch football again.
No, see, that's my thing is when it comes to watching sports, I'm not gonna watch fucking basketball. Not happening. Just not happening. To me, it's boring as shit. I'm not denying that. I mean, the athleticism and the
feel
talent
the
is
same way.
incredible, but I can't watch it. It's boring. Baseball, watching it on TV. To be honest with you, I'd rather listen to it on the radio.
Yeah.
Than watch it on television.
I like watching
But I like watching baseball. If I go to a game,
it's awesome.
I'm enthralled by
Totally
the whole
different.
game on being at the game.
we have such good times, man.
Yeah.
Going.
But because I go, I mean, I go to Fenway, fucking 8 or 9 times a year. To go see a Red Sox game. I love it. Am I going to sit on the couch and watch a game on a Monday night? No, not mid-season. No.
I will.
I mean, I'll watch
Playoffs,
it
maybe.
unless there has to be absolutely nothing on.
Yeah.
A win now means
You
just
know.
as much as it does at the end of the
Yeah, but
Baseball's a game you can lose 30 games in a row, still make the playoffs.
yeah.
Well, with 162 games,
Yeah.
you got to go on a tear after
But
that.
you know what I mean? So
It's kind of like podcasting. Let's go, guys. We can do it.
We've lost 75 years.
But things like hockey, I can watch. Football, definitely. And a lot of people think football's boring.
Yeah.
because of the in between. But it's the athleticism, the chess match almost too with plays. That's the thing. Is
Duck
plays
pin
are run.
bowling.
It's not like in basketball they're setting up plays and you don't know they're setting up a play. Oh, they just look like a bunch of dudes running around squeaking their sneakers.
Because you don't play.
Because I don't play
It's
it. And I
'cause you don't play.
No, it's because I don't play and I don't know.
See,
the
I know
setups.
what they're doing. I played
Yeah.
basketball. I know exactly what they're doing.
Yeah,
Some
see,
teams
I
just
don't-
do it better than
Yeah.
others. You guys are surrounded by some good basketball here, though. Because you got the Celtics, who honestly,
Yes.
despite the fact they can't get along with each other, one of the best teams in the league.
Oh yeah.
Watch what they do every now and then.
Yeah.
You might enjoy it more.
But to me, I'm more of a hockey, football, and even soccer. I'll watch soccer. You know, I like soccer. A lot
The
of
rest
people
of the
hate
world
it.
calls it like our friends in Ghana.
Football.
Football.
Yeah.
Football. Foot.
But those are games that you can watch because it's constant. Well, soccer is and hockey are constant
Always
motion.
moving.
It's always moving.
I like
It's just moving forward.
I like basketball fights. I love watching a fight that not one punch ever lands.
just fucking.
just freaking
They look like those fucking things out in front of the car and
Cars for sale.
The cars for sale. Those big
All the wobbling arm guys.
Yeah, exactly.
Something happened at the Knicks game, which is exciting. That's a headline in and of itself.
Something happened at the
Yeah,
Knicks game?
something actually happened. An actress named Regina King, who's been in a million things. She was sitting in the front row, and one guy literally just leapfrogged over her, chasing for a ball, and you can actually see his balls dragging on the and you could see her in slow motion. She's like, "I won an Oscar." You know, she left the game.
balls on her head.
She
Did
probably
she?
paid
She ended up
$4,000 for those tickets.
how's my ass taste?
She ended up leaving.
No, she stayed. She was laughing about it, but you know, they made it seem like he leapfrogged her, like, and cleared her by 2 feet. No, his balls were
her.
squarely on her beautiful eyes. They were just beautiful eyes, like those fucking click clack things that we played with as kids. She's just sitting there going, "Oh no, bang bang, one by one."
She looked like she was getting a teabag treatment at the fucking massage place.
She looked like that thing that never stops on an office, like a business guy's desk.
Oh,
Just
my
goes back
God.
and forth, back and forth. Yeah, click clack, one eye socket, second eye socket, still an Oscar winner.
All I can picture is her forehead looking like the windshield of a car going through a car wash and getting brushed.
Some guy comes by with a fan at the end.
A couple of hairy nuts to dry off your forehead.
He comes over and he's like, "I'm sorry." He apologized to this woman. I'm like, "That's the least of it, man." I'm
sorry,
There's
yes,
an
I know.
assault charge here somewhere.
I'm sorry if you wanted me to do it again. Call me after the game.
It's funny though because we talked about that, you know, the AFL and stuff. But Dave mentioned something earlier, which is something that I cannot watch. And today is the Daytona 500.
It is.
Ye and Haw.
Yes, we're recording
Sorry, guys.
right now. While there's some guys like, "Hey, is the oil changed? Did you get those tires on?"
Did you kick them tires before he left the damn pit?
You know what, guys? I know this was an important event for all of us. So I actually, I've got a live feed on my phone on Twitter, and the last update, they turned left.
Yeah,
They actually, I don't even want to say turn, they veered.
I always had a theory
Turning left at 200 miles an hour, though.
about NASCAR to make it more exciting. And because
Who's the
I mean,
cause?
for one thing, you got fucking 900 cars stacked at a line, and they're like, "Go for fucking 500 laps." You know what I mean? So why not do like, you know, start it off like 10 laps and then eliminate last 10 cars. Like you didn't make it across the finish line and eliminate those 10 cars. Pull into the pits. Grab a beer, sit with those people in the camper in the middle of the fucking fairway.
Yeah, an elimination race.
And then, yeah.
like in video games.
Yeah.
If you had a NASCAR game. One of the
No. And then continue from there. And you can cut down the time a shitload.
Yeah, but
You know what I mean? And then not only that.
Nobody
I think,
wants them to.
I think
Yeah, I know.
I think the last lap should be just the final 2 cars. No holes barred. Fucking
guns,
One
machine
lap.
guns.
Whoever gets there first wins.
I think there needs to be obstacles. I think
Ramps.
shit needs to pop out of the track.
Ramps, yeah.
Like a clown, you know, just giving you a thumbs up or throwing pies at the car, blocking the windshield.
Holy
Or just
What was
someone
that
from the
game?
crowd throws a cinder block as the cars come by.
What was
Might
that
as well.
game?
I mean, whenever they crash, a wheel goes and decapitates at least 6 people who had
Yeah.
to get the good seats. Fuck that sport.
Mel Gibson made that movie in 1983. He was a road warrior.
Yes.
That's it.
Exactly. Death race.
So yeah, NASCAR it's very different. And I got into it when I lived in Buffalo. This is nothing to do in February in Buffalo.
Yeah.
You've been drinking for 6 months straight because it's been snowing.
But we know you're not watching any
Right.
football in freaking February in Buffalo.
No,
damn
no
sure.
football. but to me, NASCAR is one of those events like Craig described baseball. You have to go to appreciate it.
Yeah, you
When
have
you're
to
at
be
a
there.
race
I've
and you're on
heard
track
that.
and there's 60 cars that can, they can go 200 miles an hour, and the engines and the work that goes into it, it's almost like you got to feel it to get into it.
Yeah.
You pack 100,000 people, 150,000 people into stands, which is ridiculous.
Each of them carrying 100.
They're bringing their own beer. They're bringing their own food.
And let me tell you,
And you drink for 6 hours.
Like, I'm not saying there's no skill involved in it. The skill is unbelievable.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
I mean, those
There's-
drivers, some of them lose almost 20 pounds a race.
Yeah.
A race, man.
Yeah.
I got to start
this is
driving.
bringing up the best topic, and I'm going to do it. I almost got punched in our bar.
Yeah.
Okay,
No.
by a couple of people who were devout NASCAR fans. And I got to ask the question, is NASCAR a sport? Go.
Yes.
It's as much a sport as
It's
golf.
definitely,
is.
it's definitely
No.
a sport.
It's a contest.
It's a sport. Which a sport
It's a
is
competition.
It's a
I
skill-based
guess.
competition.
It's a skill-based
It
competition.
is not a sport.
It's
It's
not
a
a sport.
It's so.
How is it a sport?
Because
I would
so
argue-
many scientific things go into winning a race. It's ridiculous. You won't even notice.
All right, but that doesn't make it a sport.
Between the driver and it has to be in the top physical. One of those drivers is probably in better
car
shape than
is
any
more-
football player.
your
out
Tony
car
there.
is
Stewart.
more of
What?
an athlete.
No.
Am I right?
No.
So here
Are you
Let's not
kidding
go
me?
that- No, let's not. I'll say that they're in better shape than maybe like fucking
Than anyone. Think about it, because you're using every muscle in your body all day long. You don't.
Yeah,
you're not
but
taking
they
breaks.
don't get out of the car looking like fucking like they were chiseled out of stone.
Yeah, those guys are fucking chiseled, man. They're not fucking.
Who's that fucking guy who's on the Geico commercials racing around? I'll fucking strangle that guy. He
That
looks
guy
like
was.
fucking.
That guy,
That's a cartoon lizard.
no, but
what's
think
his
about
name?
it. I mean, you got to piss in that car. You're fucking under constant
Okay.
stress. You're fucking
Time
going
out,
200
time
miles
out.
an
Losing
hour.
20 pounds from sweating and not controlling your bodily functions doesn't make you an athlete.
Not-
in
and then-
other
not
words,
to
you would
mention-
be the best athlete in
Yeah,
fucking
that's what I'm
town.
saying, and not to mention, the pit crew and everything they got, and all the timing. And
car is
fucking
the
what
athlete.
has to be replaced.
I would argue it's probably not a sport in the traditional sense. I would say the drivers are more athletes than NASCAR is a sport.
Oh
Yes.
yeah, no.
If you
I'll
go back
agree with
years,
that.
then they weren't. Like you could always go back years in
Moonshiners.
any game. If you talk about golf,
Yeah.
you bring up John Daly, not an athlete.
Not an athlete.
Tiger Woods, athlete. A lot of Jordan Spieth, a lot of those guys nowadays, athletes.
Yeah.
Even baseball, you go back to like the 80s and before, not so much athletes. They played a game.
Currently, NFL, Janikowski, not an athlete.
Not so much. No.
Kicker. I
He
mean,
fits more at this table than he does in the NFL.
Al Leiter for the Mets, this was 20 some odd years ago, but Al Leiter for the Mets, they said, hey, you're a professional athlete. How do you feel about making the money you do? Because I'm not an athlete.
I'm a baseball
I'm a
player."
pitcher. That's what he said. He goes, I can't run laps around these guys. Those guys are athletes, not
Yeah.
me. He goes, I throw the ball.
I throw the ball. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's true.
I think sport boils down to human athletic ability.
Yeah.
And if you put NASCAR in there, it doesn't quite fit.
It
I
doesn't
think the
fit.
drivers can be considered athletes the way they perform, but the
Skill-
event
like-
itself, I think
Yeah.
contest
Yeah,
is
I
probably
think
a better way
having
to
the
describe
biggest
it.
engine shouldn't
Context.
qualify you as a
I'm
better
not.
athlete.
Yeah.
I'm not
Right.
denying the skill and stamina to sit in that car.
Stamina's
Shit,
the
fucking. I drive the 45-minute drive to Providence. I'm like my wallet's hurting my back. Fucking. You know what I mean? Like,
That's the thing.
Fucking-
Is stamina. That's
and
they have massive
they-
stamina.
They're skilled.
Just
and they
watching
know what's
Craig
going
lower the
on.
window to light up his cigarette at 220 miles an hour. Fuck, I can't light it. You brought it up, though. Okay, so you feel that it's a somewhat athletic, skill-based competition.
Yeah.
I tend to agree with you. Figure skating, sport, yes or no? Go.
No.
No.
No, it's
Skill-based competition.
It is
competition.
because there's judges involved
Yes.
too, on top of everything else. Now, boxing, also judges involved. Skill or not skill?
That's a
That's
sport.
skill.
That's
That's
an athletic. You to dodge punch. You might not see it in certain fights, but when you get up to, these elite guys who are dodging punches, you got a guy throwing a punch at you that one of us wouldn't even see coming. And
Until
he's
we watch the replay
and he's-
3 days
and
later.
he's fucking bobbing and
see
ducking
it.
and being missed by these shots, and then and then throwing a connecting shot, an accurate connecting shot. That's athleticism. There's no
but
doubt.
so is figure skating. It's not a question of athleticism. It's a question of whether or not it's a sport.
But
are you competing against a judge, a scoring, like a default scoring system? Like golf, to me, is an athletic competition. It's not a sport.
No.
Nobody's blocking you
Nobody's
from doing
blocking
it.
I thought about
baby.
that. I thought about it that way too. You're right. Brad.
There needs to be defense involved. If you're figure skating and occasionally fucking someone
Tanya
throws,
Harding comes.
yeah, comes with their floppy pancake
bats.
tits, trying to fucking smash you in the
Oh,
knee.
they were floppy then, and she was an athlete.
And she was an athlete, and that penthouse was disgusting.
Oh, I know. You see his pixelated dick going up that dirty, hairy ass.
She actually brought his load to the camera.
She scooped the jizz out
Yeah.
and went over to the camcorder, which was the size of this table back in 1992, and,
was
and
like, "Look
shows
what
it. Look at my pixelated jizz.
It's a precious gift.
yes. Someday this is gonna make my babies.
Yeah.
God. What the fuck?
So not a sport, yeah.
No.
It's an experience, not a sport.
No. But but then at the same time, it takes athleticism, though. So, I mean,
To be with Tanya
'cause you
Harding,
can say
hell
the
yeah,
same
it
thing.
does.
Gymnastics, probably some of the most incredible athletes ever.
Not a sport.
Not a sport.
Well, definitely not when the ribbon is involved. When they start waving that 19-foot ribbon around,
Yeah.
and they're like jumping through
Oh
it.
well, yeah, that's dancing.
Okay, it's dancing.
That's
exactly.
dancing.
And just because
But-
you're wearing a unitard doesn't
When
mean
you when you see someone using those ring things or even the parallel bars and shit, that's fucking incredible.
Yeah.
Or
It's kinda- it's a
even the
sport,
open
though.
floor mat doing the fucking tumble and flips and
they
you know,
use momentum
triple
to launch themselves
landings.
10 feet in the air. These girls are 2.5
Yeah.
feet tall.
Yeah.
They'll get their periods somewhere in
And
their
let
40s.
me tell you something right
See,
now.
that-
Who is the one? What was her name? I can't think of her name.
Yes, Mary Lou Red.
Yes, she did.
You knew one gymnast.
When she
Back in the
pulled
80s.
when she pulled out that
Because she was on a Wheaties
when
box.
when she sprained her ankle and she had a bad sprain. She had a high ankle sprain and she ran and did that.
That was Carrie
That was
Strug.
Carrie
Oh,
Strug.
Carrie
yes,
Strug.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
sorry. Yeah, Carrie Strug.
no, and she
Right?
was not on the Wheaties.
No,
No, she
no,
should've.
she was after. She was
she?
on the Wheaties.
You should have known that, Mike.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But,
Mike thought he was going to be a better athlete by
Car-
eating 14
But
pounds of
Carrie
Wheaties.
Strug.
I stopped eating Wheaties when friggin'
So this
Sammy
this
Sosa was on
pose-
the box.
this poses a good argument because now she came out. She had a high ankle sprain, which is fucking brutal, and came out and ran down that fucking thing
Unbelievable.
faster than anybody fucking I know could. Hit that thing, did the
That
sub,
doesn't
and
say much in
landed
this
it.
room.
No, no,
I could jog to the bathroom, and that'd be the top level that you've seen.
but
13 feet.
and then landed it, and that showed more toughness than any NBA fucking player I've
Nobody-
ever
yeah.
seen.
Nobody is
Ever
ever
seen.
saying these are not athletes. Nobody's saying that. I can't even play golf well.
So we don't-
I'm not saying they're not athletes.
No.
I'm not saying they're not skilled and talented. What I'm saying is it's not a sport.
Where do you
Yeah.
draw the line between sport and competition?
And
I think
competition.
it's head-to-head competition with the defined winner and loser. No judges involved.
Yeah.
To me, that's the way I look at it. Now, boxing judges are a little different because they're counting punches that land. So it's still based on a definable parameter.
Yeah, there's
What
and
about-
not only that, you can knock the guy out and win the fucking
Well,
fight.
that's also the
you know.
but I think when it comes down to the Russian judge felt that was a much more accurate floor routine. We have no idea. It could come down to international politics at that.
Yeah.
point.
It
At
also
that
could
point.
no
come down.
idea.
It also could come down to a ref. Doesn't have to be a judge because sometimes they have to
Well,
judge
I
on
do
what's
love
right
the
and
idea
wrong,
that we
right?
think all refs are impartial. You telling me somebody got
Oh,
into
of
the
course
NFL
they're-
without ever growing up
Oh, no
liking
way,
it?
of course.
Give me a
Oh,
fucking
yeah,
break.
exactly.
So, I'm
No,
with you.
yeah.
Man. I just, what was this episode about again?
I know we haven't even got to it. That was a pretty drawn out discussion. I mean, we all agree there's certain sports that are actual sports, and there's certain
Events.
events that are skilled contests.
I would call it an athletic contest. That's fine.
They all involve levels of physical athleticism. I don't think there's any question here.
no,
It's just,
absolutely.
defining parameters of what a sport versus a competition
Except
is.
golf. I'm still gonna say golf that you can be John Daly. You can have a butt dangling out of your mouth and put
Sure,
your beer near your foot at the tee, and still drive a 300-yard.
If you can be 78 years old and still par a hole that PGA guys are parring, just like,
Yeah.
if you can perform
not
at
a
that
sport.
same level, it's not a sport.
It's a contest.
I think
Cialis.
ultimately it comes down to skill, judging the wind, all sorts of things. I think it's more akin to flying an airplane.
How about wrestling?
Wrestling is a staged athletic show.
You have to be an
Contest.
athlete.
It's no different than roller derby or anything like that.
But the
Second
announcer-
roller derby reference of the show.
Yeah, I'm
Nice.
getting the question. Your character.
The
a little-
announcer-
My daughter actually came up to me this week.
Yeah,
She goes, I want to do roller derby. That's going to be
way.
my sport. I'm like, where did you hear about
She
this?
started. She was
awesome.
talking to me about that.
We got to talk
last
to
time I
Nettie
was there.
Knives, man.
She's like, they won't let me.
Well, yeah.
Who's
so she
why
went
not?
to her white trash uncle.
Bang, he's gonna buy
I
her
was like,
skates.
I'll talk to him.
She's gonna have some.
She's going to have like a beer and a Snickers. Yeah. Can you sign me up?
I was like, why not?
Apparently, it was in one of her books. A couple characters in the books decided they wanted to be on a roller derby team. She doesn't understand that it's no different than pro wrestling on wheels. It's all fake and there's storylines and all that.
Yeah.
It's not a real sport.
But it's still physical and
One
fun.
of our friends actually did that for a little bit, just messing around.
Yeah.
Though. What's it?
Yeah.
Oh, so she was
Jeanette.
smart to go to crack. Yeah. My kid's pretty sharp. But
No, but I mean, shit, it's fun.
all right, so let's get on topic here.
What is our topic?
Well, you did the intro, so why don't you lead us into it, motherfucker?
Let's change pace a little bit. I think we talked about our weeks ad nauseum,
Yeah,
even though we didn't even talk about them.
We did.
Nauseum's the good word.
But we're coming off of a week where we didn't record because we were sick and we've had some issues. But something we talked about potentially changing is kind of the course of sickness. And there's a story that came up about curing
Huge.
cancer, right? And I think Craig, you found it, right? It was
Yeah.
Israeli scientists.
Israel. Israeli
Yeah.
scientists have come up with what they deem a cure for cancer. And they said by the end of next year, they'll have it out. And they're confident 100%.
And they also
bold
said it's going to
statement.
be affordable.
And it's affordable. And not only that, it's not like chemo is very harmful.
Yeah, of course.
You know, I mean, granted, you got to do what you got to do.
You're
to
trading
get,
one thing
you're
for
trading
another, yeah.
for another.
Uh-huh.
And they're saying this will knock it out of your body within a few weeks.
Yeah, it's like 1 week of treatment and 2 weeks of recovery.
Yeah.
And what this does is basically it's got the identifier that finds the genetic markers inside of you, automatically latches onto it and eliminates it from your body.
Yeah.
I don't know the gory details, but I imagine it's going to be a rough 2 weeks. But compared to a lifetime of suffering,
No, it's claimed as having virtually no side effects.
I didn't read that. We must have different
No,
articles.
they-
I
they-
heard it was going to be rough.
They said there's a potential for side effects, but there's a potential that you could be fine. Like you could take it and
That's a bold statement.
It is.
Considering where the whole world is right now in treating cancer.
yep.
To saying in 1 year from now we can fucking get rid of it and make it affordable. That's bold.
What they've done is incredible, and it was fairly simple, which makes me think that this is potentially something that's been discovered in the past already, and has been shut down. I mean,
It made its way someplace where they can let it out now.
it's made its way to a place where they're like, you know what, fuck everybody, fuck this, we've got it, we're releasing it.
Good.
You'll suddenly see these articles about it doesn't work.
Yeah, because
it's not going to work. It's lobbying. It's
spin
just
doctors,
lobbying.
man, will be fucking all over
Oh,
that shit. You
they're
kidding
gonna
me?
be all over it.
That's the thing. When you pay attention to from now on about this story, fucking watch who puts these stories out because you're exactly right.
So one
That's
of two
what's
things is going to happen. This is going to gain traction. You'll hear more and more about it. Or it's going to turn into that Chinese scientist we talked about in December.
Yes.
Never to be heard
It
from
already
again.
Never
has.
be
This
heard
is
from
from 2
again.
weeks ago. Have we seen any other headlines?
Nothing.
Not a one.
No, I did.
Radio silence.
Actually, I did.
Guys, dead.
Actually, I did. I saw like about 4 days ago. There was another article about it, but
Thanks
I
for
mean,
sharing.
this is something that is so potentially huge but so potentially troublesome for the current way things are,
Yeah.
that people don't want change because treating cancer is so much more profitable than curing it. And these guys are saying, listen, we're going to give you this concoction of it, because that's what it is. It's a concoction of certain medications. We're going to give you this, and in 3 weeks, you're going to be like, oh, I don't have cancer. And they're not talking about certain types of cancer.
All of it.
Yeah.
All of it.
And it's,
like all
now,
of it.
If I remember right, it's not just the same concoction for everybody, right?
No,
it's tailored
different.
a little bit.
It's
for each
tailored for
person.
each
genes,
individual
yeah.
person, and they're like, no, it works. This works.
Yeah.
We've done it. It works. And
This
we'll see.
potentially, not just from a health perspective, but from a financial perspective, could change so many things. Like you talk about, there's so much rhetoric in this country about the healthcare system needs to change, good, bad, and different, whatever you think. This could potentially change.
These are the
it
real
regardless.
changes we
like
need.
it's just because it
Shit
is
like that.
fast, cheap. If it lives up to what they're selling, game changer,
Game changer. I mean,
without a doubt.
for one thing, I mean, but at the same time, is it the best thing in the world to cure it?
Of course it is. Of
No,
course
no,
it is.
Well,
man.
what do you mean by that?
What I mean by that is, look at the population of this of the planet already. Is it something that we fully want? I mean, granted,
I
there's-
learned this week we got plenty of room in Ghana.
Population. The Earth will take care of the population on its own.
No, but I mean, so
Believe me.
does it bring up something else? Does something else come out that's more
There's
deadly?
always something.
There's always going to be a
Does,
natural
cancer,
selection.
does
But
cancer mutate like a virus into something different that becomes immune to
and what
this?
are the long-term effects of this quote unquote cure?
It not,
If it makes half your body fall off, then
I'm
but
in.
you
The bad
don't-
half.
I'm
but
in.
You're cancer free.
apparently,
I'm in.
Apparently, there's literally very
So,
small
so the
side
rats are
effects,
doing
and
well.
You know what's fucked
and
up?
everything,
human
and,
trials
and the
have.
side effects are minimal. Like, I mean, are minute. You know what I mean? The ones that people are having to it, or I'm not necessarily sure it's people. Didn't say anything about human trial.
No, probably
But-
not. I'm sure there have been.
Yeah,
on the wraps.
guaranteed.
I don't think you released a story without some kind of human.
Yeah.
Yeah,
trial.
they had to.
Or high confidence.
All right, so we can all agree that the cure for cancer is probably fucking the biggest change ever on this planet.
Potentially, if it pans out.
If it
it's
pans
true.
out. I mean, no, regardless where it comes from, what country it comes from, this is huge.
Will it be made
But-
accessible though?
But
That's the concern I've got.
the concern is it's probably not going to be made accessible.
It's going to run through the FDA, and then they're going to find one minute thing wrong with it.
No,
Never
they're
mind all
not.
the good
But
that
they're not going to find anything wrong with it. And what's going to happen is lobbyists are going to push on the one
That's the
tiny
thing.
drawback from it.
You'll
Yeah.
see people leave.
You know
For-
what I
that's
mean?
what- that's
I
kind
would,
of
Lobbyists
I would
from-
fucking leave the country. Like I've had my mother, my aunts on both sides of my family have dealt with cancer in some form.
Really?
I lost one aunt to breast cancer.
Oh,
But the
man,
problem
I'm
is
sorry,
that
that
countries
sucks.
are already shutting their doors to us. Everybody's like, yeah, Norway,
I-
Norway.
I'd
Guess
fucking
what?
leave.
They don't want us.
I'd
They're
find a
happy
way.
with their way of life.
I would climb over the wall in Jerusalem.
No, you can't do that. You can't climb over walls. It's impossible.
Yeah, but then you gotta fend off bullets instead of cancer.
Nah, but I would go there. I wouldn't go to Israel for vacation.
By the way, have you seen the commercials
They
for the
have-
I would love it.
Israel
It's
vacations?
like a nightlife hotspot.
Yeah.
I would
No,
love
I
it.
know it is.
Jerusalem and
But-
Tel Aviv.
It is,
Yeah,
man.
Tel Aviv,
I would love
which
it.
is incredible. I find that incredible just because of the tensions that are there. You know,
My
But-
first memory of Tel Aviv was Desert Storm. Like
Yeah.
green cameras
like
and
what's
bombs
Tel
blowing up.
I'm like what's Tel Aviv and why do people keep dropping bombs on it? It's not even in Iraq.
That would have been my commercial.
They're just like, imagine that. There was a whole war. It was fucking Iraq invaded Kuwait. We were like, oh yeah, fuck you, stop it. They're like, oh yeah, fuck you. And started dropping bombs on Tel Aviv.
Right.
Israel's like, what the fuck? We weren't even doing anything.
We're just curing cancer.
It's because they've had the cure for cancer back then.
That would have been my commercial, though. You're like, you think you know Tel Aviv? Think again. And then they show like CNN war footage, and then we used to drop bombs, but now we drop beats.
Yeah.
And you just have some hot Jewish chick dancing it up. And,
Bunch of one-legged chicks dancing
But I
around.
mean, just like the United States does for certain countries, maybe people start coming to going to Israel for this treatment. Because who knows?
but
Who
I don't
knows how
think
this
they'll
is going to
welcome
go?
us. I don't think they want all of the people in America that have cancer to just all hop flights.
No, because it'd be way too
No,
many people.
it'll come here. It'll come here. They're
There are
not
certain
gonna
people
be.
that-
They're gonna be. There's people out there that are gonna become millionaires.
Not at
for
$100,000 a
Not
treatment.
that. Yeah.
this. They will.
They said it was going to
You know
be
how much
affordable
cancer
by
is out there?
all.
Yes.
All
there are
right.
people
it
that
should
won't go
be.
To, there are people that won't go to Israel just because it's Israel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, definitely.
Period. I would go anywhere. I would go if my wife was sick. I would
Oh,
take her
definitely.
anywhere on the planet.
Right.
I avoid
know?
that whole section of the earth.
No, I
I
would
don't
Well,
avoid
if I
it.
looked like you, I would too.
I would avoid it. I would avoid
Mike
it.
is safe.
Yeah, exactly. We'll just send Mike in there to get it.
Send Mike first.
Yeah, I got 4 doses here. Who needs one?
Brad, just walk behind Mike with your
Well,
head.
then they weigh him and they're like, oh, yeah, he probably does need 4 doses.
Yeah, he needs 4 doses. Give him
He's
that.
hanging out in front of the fucking front of the hospital like a scalper.
Got 4 in my pockets, 2 in my beard.
But
Eating my beard.
my thing is, so now we've cured this, but we're also taking a step back
How so?
because people are not getting their kids vaccinated now,
Yeah.
and measles have become a issue in certain parts of the country.
It's so terrible that that's fucking true, isn't it?
It's unbelievable. Now, don't get me wrong. I believe that
There's a reason for it?
there's certain aspects of these vaccinations that are harmful, just like any drug. But at the same time, people talk about polio, right? We vaccinated polio. It was gone. I mean, it was gone. At one point, it was fucking thousands upon thousands of people were getting it, and it was 1 in every 250 kids were getting it. Now it's dropped down to fucking no one gets it.
Immeasurable numbers. It's so low.
Yeah, it's so low. But they start saying it's linked to autism, which I disagree.
It turned out to be bullshit, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think that for years, autism was an undiagnosed issue, for one thing. Because everybody, and not to be, so-and-so down the street, he's slow.
Yeah.
Or he's quirky.
He's quirky.
Yeah.
Or
'cause you got a
he's
really
different.
high-functioning person with autism.
No.
And I know one of my best friends, her son's autistic, and he's on the spectrum, I should say. And what I'm saying is that it's really tough to diagnose these things in general, but it's even tougher to trace it back to a vaccination.
Yes.
But the fact that you just said he's on the spectrum, there was no spectrum.
There was no
25 years
spectrum.
ago.
Right.
There wasn't.
We've acknowledged that they're in this plane somewhere where something's just off a little bit, whatever it is, right? Whether it's a mild case of Asperger's up to full blown,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like so I think just recognizing it is a big
People
part
are
of
getting
it.
that's-
shipped
that's the
off
thing.
to
Do you know what
fucking
causes autism?
hospitals.
Life.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Sometimes
We
you
all
just-
have
you-
one
you
form
just
or
end
another.
up
Because in the 70s and 80s, it was like 1 in 2,000 kids were diagnosed, right? And now it's 1 in 50,
150.
right? So, sorry, 1 in 150. But back in the 70s and 80s, everybody's like, oh, he has a behavioral issue. He has this.
Yeah,
he has ADD. Was
Misdiagnosed.
huge because you know what? We can give him Ritalin. And that was all pushed by the Pfizer and all these companies that came up with this drug. Were like, oh, let's put it on this. Let's put this kid on this because
And
he
this
has
is that
attention deficit.
parenting shit. Not to cut you
Well,
off.
yeah,
but-
it's not. It's,
No.
I mean, we have more breakthroughs now in science too that we can diagnose these things.
But
Where
it's
we
also
weren't able
when we
to
were
back
kids,
then.
though. I got to stop you because when we were kids, our parents didn't say you're automatically going to be a doctor or a lawyer. All the parents today, they're all like, you can be anything you want to be. No, you can't.
No,
No,
you
you
can't.
can't.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're not cut out for that.
No.
Not everybody's going to be a lawyer. But the fact that we tell these kids that they can be, and when they don't perform in school, suddenly they've got a learning disability
yeah.
and they get diagnosed with shit they don't
Yep.
need.
Exactly.
Okay, and this is a whole separate episode, but it pisses me off. Vaccinations stop diseases. If your kid wants to come into my school with polio,
That's
just
right.
because your mom's a fucking tree hugging idiot,
bad.
okay,
Yeah.
I'm going to smear my kid in peanut butter
mean-
and gluten and have him go fucking hug your kid.
So
Exactly.
you're gonna make your kid into a sandwich.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But
So
what
fucking-
Craig's talking about, you're talking about diagnosis numbers. You're not
talking
talking
about
about actual
actual-
prevalence of a
Right.
condition
Prevalence
or
of the thing.
disease.
I don't think
Right.
it's ever changed.
No, it's.
I think it's
it
been
hasn't.
consistent because it's not a you don't catch fucking autism.
Unless you hang around Craig all day.
No,
It's an environmental thing.
it's an environmental thing. But you do catch polio
Yes.
and you do catch the measles and you do catch all these other fucking diseases that we've eliminated.
Yeah.
We've eliminated these diseases.
I mean, look, I think that every kid in school should get vaccinated. And to Brad's point, I mean, if your kid goes to a public school,
You have to
you got to comply with it. That's it.
My
Either
kid has to
that
have
or-
stickers on his sandwiches that say this is not peanut butter.
Yeah.
We buy this sun butter shit, which is made out of sunflower seeds. And it's because it's safe. It doesn't trigger nut allergies.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
And my kid's got to go to school with to accommodate that special table of kids. You're telling me this patient shouldn't have to come in and say, oh, by the way, I might have
I have
polio?
polio. Fuck
Yeah.
you.
Go fuck yourself,
no
Rubella.
shit.
Yeah.
Okay, Rubella boy.
Fuck
Go sit over there in some other school.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not
You gotta
doing
keep.
this.
This
you gotta
it's
keep
for the
that
greater
hat
good,
on
and
there.
that's
Of course, you got to keep it. You got to keep control
It's
of it.
just I get
Not-
that people freak out all of a sudden. They say, okay, all these since we're vaccinating all these people, vaccinating the kids, and the numbers of this disease have jumped higher. Not disease, but this infliction, I guess you would call it.
Affliction.
Affliction. Yeah, there you go.
Can we name this episode Infliction?
Yes, yes.
Inflection.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well.
No, but I lost my train of thought. No, but if you bring that up and realize that these were just undiagnosed cases or misdiagnosed cases, then the vaccines have got nothing to do with it. And all the vaccines have done has prevented other horrible fucking things.
Right, and
How many-
go
Go
ahead.
ahead. No, go ahead, Mike.
So with all these new vaccines and shit, all these people are gonna try to find new things wrong with those vaccines, and that's
Yes.
obviously,
Yeah.
like you said.
I look at it on a much more base level. Okay, if see all those rows of dead children's graves dated after 1951, me neither. Okay, I'd
Yeah.
much rather have a child with autism, okay, than a dead child.
Hell yeah, that's
Period.
exactly.
Living
there
in
you
an
go.
iron lung.
Yeah,
There you go.
I'm not going to tell every parent they need to get their kid vaccinated. You don't have to. But if you don't, you need to understand there's implications. If you make this decision, you make this choice,
Consequences.
there's certain
yeah.
things you're going to have to deal with.
course,
And part of
yeah.
it's going
We're
to be they're
gonna-
not going to public school. They're not doing
Yes.
this. They may get sick and die of something no one's died of in 50 years.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly.
You know, if you
Homeschool your
think
children
back,
if
how many
that's the
people
way you want it.
died of consumption in the 1800s?
I haven't
right?
died yet.
Right. Who dies of consumption now?
yeah.
Nobody, because we know
Nobody,
what it was.
'cause we
We
know
know
what
what
it
the
was.
blood diseases are and those things.
Yeah.
So knowledge is part of it.
What kind of consumption? You talking about booze consumption?
Listen,
Fuck, I tell you what, man. I was pretty
right now,
close the
your
other
pants
night.
are consuming your belt, so take it easy.
My stomach's consuming my belt. Do I have a belt on? Oh yeah, I do.
I think part of this story is if you choose not to vaccinate your kids, good for you. You're making a decision,
But
there's
we're gonna-
consequences.
We're going to
Right.
build a little house in the prairie school
Yeah,
for you
yeah.
down the street.
Yeah.
yeah. We're gonna call
But
it
you
the
can
Ricketts Academy.
The whooping cough school.
Julio Garden.
And there's fucking ramps at every door.
their mascot's
Every
called Croup.
classroom's on a ramp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is slanted. Everybody's
What
in
was
the
that?
back.
Their mascot's called
Their,
what?
their mascot's called Croup. It's just a sad looking bird.
No, but I mean, you can't. But we can't deny the fact that vaccines they have to be done. There's just. I mean, I get it. I don't like things, and I don't go get the flu shot. I'm all set. When I'm 80, I'll go get it. You know what I mean?
That's
When you're
cute. Craig
80.
thinks he's making it to
Yeah,
80.
I know, man. Holy shit. God
He
damn.
just cranked 7 butts in that last sentence, and he's like, "Yeah, 80." His lungs laughed at him.
No,
I should say lung.
I'll be all set next year. Smoke all the butts I want.
I know, right? That's another thing. Another implication about that. Fucking imagine all the stupid shit people will say. I don't give a fuck about smoking anymore. Everybody's gonna fucking take up smoking and all these bad things.
Yeah, you can still have a
we
heart
can
attack.
work- Yeah, but still, like, imagine how many people are gonna look at it that way, though. Fuck,
Go to
cancer's
Flat Israel,
nothing.
buy an extra.
They'll send
Buy
you
an extra, yeah.
They'll
You'll bring this
fucking-
pack home with me.
They'll give away a fucking anti-cancer pill with every fucking pack of butts.
Yeah,
Fuck
there you
goes
go.
out.
So part of
Take one of these and smoke this.
I just want to see Mike throwing out all
Cotton
his
a
oranges.
butt. Cotton a butt comes with a flight to Israel. inside the fucking.
Mike's sitting there
plastic.
going, "Bring it on, scurvy." Take you all.
What we're seeing though is some of these anti-vaxxers kids are getting to the point where they're old enough to make decisions, and they're going out on their own
Yes.
and getting vaccinated.
Realizing they should be fucking.
There was just a kid last week. There was an article last week about a kid who on his 18th birthday went to the doctor and got vaccinated. And when they interviewed him on it, he said, "I don't know how I lived this long. I don't know how I survived." And he went and got
I
vaccinated.
can't
for
wait to
everything.
see that special. It's going to be called Mom and Dad, You're Fucking Wrong.
Yeah,
I think the vaccinations are going to be like more and more of an everyday thing as the population dies off from the 60s. Trust me, it's going to happen.
So all these anti-vaxxers, they all get vaccinated.
Yeah, I know,
Yeah.
right?
That's why they live to be parents.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And things, and it's not that the vaccines stayed the same that they were 50. I mean, I don't have
No, they
that round
constantly
scar on my.
change.
Does anybody have that round scar on their arm?
My parents.
My parents do. I don't. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
They didn't
yeah.
get it.
Polio.
When they got
The
their shot,
polio
and
the
both my
polio
parents have
vaccine.
that.
But we all have the polio vaccine.
It's so terrible how
And
they,
why?
they had a
Because-
shot that fucking destroys your fucking skin.
It was like a tattoo. Yeah.
fucking what the
Yeah, but they have their legs.
Yeah. Yeah.
no wheelchair for you.
Yeah, but no, but that's. I mean, it's insane. I think, and I'm the first one to say I think certain medicines are horrible, and I won't go to the doctors because they're gonna just give me a medication. I don't want it because it'll go away.
Telling my wife, I don't want to take things.
Yeah.
I have to fight her to take ibuprofen when she's getting a
Yeah.
migraine. Like, I get that.
No, but I'm the same way. I don't take things. I mean, I'll take an ibuprofen if something's hurting bad or something like that. But we're gonna put you on this medication. What, daily, forever? Get the fuck out of here.
I take pills every day, and do you know what the trade-off
You
is? I feel good.
Well, yeah, but
Exactly.
still, but I don't have. They're looking for diagnosed diseases. They're just looking for shit to give you drugs. You
wouldn't
have
they?
a legitimate. You have
Or
diabetes.
do I? I honestly don't know, because you know what? It could just be me eating better.
Yeah, it could be.
Maybe.
What
Just
happened?
maybe.
Because what
Drugs
happened?
are a shortcut. Big
you
time
were a medical model
these days.
All of a sudden, you change your diet, and what happened? Oh, your numbers dropped.
Yeah.
Right, but yet you're still taking the pills, right?
Well, I'm taking the pill, but I'm taking 25% of my original dose.
Yeah.
They've stepped me down every doctor's visit. So, I mean, I'm still a medical
And the guy's
model.
like, "Fuck my bonus. Fuck, I gotta bring him down."
Oh, no, my doctor, she will break you.
Yeah,
Drug companies,
she's Nurse Ratchet,
Drug
man. She's
companies
tough.
are a huge demon in all this fucking.
No, and we've talked
Sucks.
about it before. It's a fucking
and
horrible
that'll never
fucking
change.
thing.
Fucking that'll never change.
But hopefully it does change.
Yeah, it probably will. If you go with society, things
Yeah.
tend to be cyclical. They go back and forth.
And if you
This
are an
way,
anti-vaxxer and your patron saint is Jenny McCarthy, I want you to stop and think about that sentence for a minute.
Watching The Masked Singer.
Except the mask isn't on her face. All right, that's pretty fucked up. But speaking about all these things that we can't change, what are some fucking things that we can change, guys? Craig, what do you think?
What's
What do you
attainable? Like, we're
Yeah,
talking about
attainable
attainable
goals.
change. Yeah. Like things that, even 10 years ago seemed kind of like out of reach.
Are we talking small scale? What kind of what are we talking about? Like changes?
I think
All right.
things that would make a significant, notable difference. I'm not talking about like, hey, I found $20 extra in my bank account.
Yeah.
I'm talking about like, wow, this medical plan is actually going to work
Well,
for me.
I'll tell you right now, renewable energy is huge. It's huge because these other industries are ancient now. We have to move on, and global warming is real. It's not. I don't
think it's our fault,
not
but it's
global
real.
warming.
No, it's not our fault.
It's climate change. It's
happens
climate change,
naturally.
and it happens naturally.
We need
But
to adapt.
we need to adapt. That's the key. We're not caught just because I started my fucking truck up this morning doesn't mean that fucking it's getting hotter tomorrow.
Wait.
You know what I mean?
Did I ask attainable goals? Because I don't see that fucking.
No,
ever
but-
changing,
but it
man.
is.
Are there
but-
other forms of energy you see developing or
Actually,
developed that are
I
attainable?
I should rephrase I should go back to the fact that not so much global warming, global impact is what I'm talking about. We're getting to a point now where we're still drilling for oil. Yes, it's there. There's coal. Yes, it's there. It's nasty, gross shit that we've been doing since the fucking 1700s. Right?
All right,
So,
so-
is there a need for it?
Well, we're
No,
talking
there
about
isn't.
250
is.
years, roughly. 260, 70 years of human history versus 9 billion years for this planet. This planet has gone through so many climate changes naturally over the years. You really think this little fly turd on the map of history is making a significant impact on the Earth? Fuck no.
But for cost
It's
effective,
not going to stop the world from slowing down on temperature.
No, it's not. But for cost effectiveness and something that we're not going to run out of
but
is constant renewable energy.
But what you say right there, it's not cost effective whatsoever. It's
Go
not
ahead.
even close.
Go ahead. Tell me why.
Because how much would it cost to switch over to that? First of all, that's the first hurdle that no one will address.
Over the amount of time, yes, of course.
No one will ever address that.
How much did it cost to fucking switch from anything that we've done in this country? From
We've had it
fucking
all.
burning fires to putting electrical outlets in your house.
What
happened?
It wasn't
did
like it is now, though. I mean, the world.
We did it.
The world. I mean, back then, electricity wasn't all over the world.
No, it wasn't.
No, but gas and
Still not,
oil
by
is
the way.
all over the world now, and machines and technology. It's not attainable.
It does. No, it's absolutely.
That's the only.
I think it's
No,
extremely attainable.
Oh, it's definitely attainable. But I'm saying
The
way-
upfront cost of making everything solar is going to be high. The upfront cost of building wind farms is going to be high. And then all of a sudden, we're going to wake up one morning and it's going to be, holy shit, I have no electric bill.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's the thing.
There,
yeah.
honestly,
it'll never happen.
we can continue drilling, and I know you and I have argued about clean coal and all the. No such thing as clean coal. It's still ravaging the earth.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, we need solar power. Now, what kills me is about this wonderful palace I just bought. We're not eligible for solar.
Oh,
I
because
looked
of the
into
dormers
immediately.
and stuff on your
Because-
roof.
No, it's because of the trees. I got
Oh,
too
yeah.
many trees.
Chop them
And-
down. Chop those fucking
They're
down.
not on my property.
Fuck trees.
I'll chop them down.
We're talking about saving the planet. Cut the fucking trees down.
That's like, fuck that. We need renewable energy. Cut them trees down.
Fuck trees.
But
They're
I
Make
think
way for the
honestly,
fucking-
solar's the answer. Solar is
course.
the answer.
No,
and,
it is
and
the
honestly,
answer.
wind power is tremendous. They're building all these wind farms. It's not by accident. The shit
No.
works.
I
It
just
works.
wish.
Solar,
I
wind.
Imagine, like, think about this.
Ocean
though.
currents.
I
Yep.
think about this
Water
all the
power,
time.
hydro.
Our technology, the way technology was developed in the world now with oil and coal. Imagine if all that knowledge and fucking might and everything went towards solar power and
Yeah.
this and that. How different the world would be right
but
now.
you know what?
But we fucked
No.
up. We went the oil way
We
instead
did
of
it.
doing
We didn't-
everything
we
that was
didn't.
there
We didn't
forever.
fuck up. It's there need to be
it's
enough
necessity.
people
no.
that
necessity.
change and have a shift to get the companies that are financially invested to
No,
make that shift.
let me tell you
Right.
something. There is
Let me
a
tell you something, DG.
solar power Rockefeller out there right now.
Yeah.
There is a wind farm Rockefeller
Of course.
out there right now. But what it is there's oil and
There's a million oil
and coal,
Rockefellers out there.
and
That's
there's
the
a million
problem.
of them, and they all pay lobbyists
Yes.
to shut all this shit
Of course.
down.
There's two aspects of this. One of it is the energy side. What can be done, what's available, what's possible. And then there's a whole business side to it.
Yes.
And the two are so
Of course they are
intermingled
Yes.
and intertwined that it's hard to separate. Even when you're talking about it logically, it's hard to separate. So, but if you think about it from pure, is it there? Could it change society on a big scale? Of course it could.
What I was saying was, all this shit happens over this stuff, right? And the sun shines on every country on this planet. And the wind blows in every country on this planet.
Yep.
Right? So why not go to solar power, wind power? And then you know what? If you want to make some money, sell your technology. Hey, this generator actually stores
you need
more.
to sell your technology. You need to sell your energy. I'm already part of a program with National Grid that allows me to buy solar power back from that. So it shaves
Yeah,
about
me
$20
too.
off my electric bill. And so basically, excess power that goes into the grid can come back out to
Yep.
other people who don't have access to it.
Yeah.
So it's
I
all
do the same
blockchain
thing.
technology. What is preventing us from actually just making a big solar farm the size of fucking
Yes.
Rhode Island and then powering
Empowering it.
the surrounding areas?
How about the government giving out fucking?
Well, it's going to come down.
Giving
to that.
out fucking.
There's going to be
solar fans
There's
and
going to
shit.
You know what's
be
funny?
programs.
I love those videos. You see the fucking wind farm thing, and it smacks a bald eagle out of the sky. and everybody's like, "See,
5
what it
billion.
does?"
5 billion.
I love when
you
they
beat-
fall over and knock over an oil refinery.
Natural
I'm like
selection.
fucking,
5
it's
billion BTUs of energy, negative 342 birds.
So it smacked a bald eagle out of the sky. I watched Walking Dead last night. Fucking season premiere. All set. That's cool. No, I mean, I get this, but there's environmental impact to everything. It doesn't matter whether it's whether fucking, you know, the fin is bashing a bird out of the sky.
It all comes down to
or you're just digging through the ground
Right.
and fucking tearing up massive quarries and fucking getting rid of tons of area for animals to live. It impacts. It's environmental impact.
It all comes down to we are all human, and humans will never agree, and it'll never fucking. There's no peace and harmony on the planet.
So
when
this
it comes
is the
to
end
shit
of
like
the
that.
show?
Yeah.
Because
No
this
way.
is basically the entire premise of this show.
There is no change. Damn it! Fuck.
No, it needs to change, and it can. And
It does
And
need
the
to change.
the argument about, oh, you know, all these coal miners won't have jobs. No,
They'll be
they
dead
will.
in 2 years anyway.
No, they will have jobs.
Yeah.
Fucking
Jobs.
cough.
Everybody's got
Whooping,
black lung.
whooping cough.
What about all those poor canaries?
No, but they will have jobs if they just transition to. I mean, you can go back. Cobblers fucking ran out of jobs, and there was thousands of them.
Not
Blacksmiths fucking became machinists. It's just an evolution of everything else.
The milkman.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. My head, all I was
milkmen.
thinking is hashtag Canary Lives Matter.
yeah, right.
Milkmen became porn stars.
We were going to do Yellow Lives, but no.
Yeah.
It's already been taken.
Milkmen became porn stars.
There's all kinds of change going
Whole
on.
generation of milkmen paying child support.
We all agree that change would be the ultimate for the fucking planet.
would be the
There's
best.
no ifs,
And
ands,
I,
or buts
globally.
about
I
it.
do think it's attainable. It's
Theoretically,
It
global.
is
it's
attainable.
attainable.
We just need to get everybody down the same fucking
All right,
path.
but let's scale it
And
back
we'll never
down.
do
Let's
it.
scale it back down to our lives, like this week, this month, this year.
Okay.
For me, I'm thinking, you know, like Brad stops breathing the air of two men. The rest of Rhode Island breathes easier.
I was thinking more of him hiring a speech coach and get rid of that fucking monotone
Get
thing.
him a cotton ball and cut things down. We're all set.
Wow.
One
Those
cotton
is
ball.
jokes. One cotton ball.
I was going to say David Mike not affecting gravity and making more beachfront property.
This fucking hey, this floor is getting a little lopsided. You guys are looking a little taller every fucking week.
Everyone wears our new shirts. They hang a little to the right.
I
Shit.
don't
Another
think we should
thing.
call it Mike and David.
When they
anymore.
Another thing that would change.
if they drop something out of their pocket, it kind of hangs in the air for a second, and then hits the ground.
Gravity rocks, man.
Dave actually has an equator.
Yeah.
It's hotter there, and we have listeners there. They're right on Dave's Ghana.
Oh my God.
Oh
See,
shit!
mine was a little more low key. I was just saying they're going to make low carb beer.
Also a good one, Brad. Also a good one.
But how do we get from Dave's fucking orbit to low carb beer? But they're actually working on a good brewery, Dogfish Head, which beer drinkers know is a good one.
Yep.
They make one of my favorite beers of all time, the 60-minute IPA. And they're making a 2.1 carb IPA.
So diabetic people can have.
So people like me,
Have a
Or
beer.
fat people like
and also
me.
fat people, yeah. It doesn't have to just be fat and diabetic.
See, we're back. See, that jumps
or
me right
diabetic.
back to the population thing. Should we do it? Should we allow it?
Right? See, I guess you can't
Should we
put
allow
that,
this?
You can't put that analogy to any fucking thing going on there. Yeah.
What makes you think you're one of the chosen ones? What makes you think you chain smoking? I would put my mouth around a bus's tailpipe, Craig, if it meant smoking something. What makes you think you're one of the chosen ones?
That I got
Chosen
the
ones.
same sickness these two got, and I was done with it in 4 days. They're still sick.
I love that.
That's because there's less of you alive to kill.
I know. Listen,
It's only got 1/3 of a
that
lung to
fucking-
attack.
You're like human jerky.
that sickness spent at least a week fucking running around my fat cells. All right, so that's my
That's
fucking.
true.
You're
It had
just
a-
fucking
escape.
atrophying, and I don't know what you're. What do you think that voice is from? Fucking Alicia Keys. What the fuck is
Alicia Keys, nice. Wow, kid, you do sound like
Yeah.
Sing
It is
like
a little
fallen
rough.
angel.
Yep.
So I was more concerned about this beer. You mentioned this low carb beer. Is it available yet, Brad?
It's not because I'm still drinking Miller Lite. But Dare to Dream.
I saw a commercial about it though the other day. It's got the two mermaids on the
Well,
can.
that's the seltzer, dude.
Yeah.
That's the seltzer.
Oh, that'll be a new beer though. Two girls, one carb.
That'd be great is if in the commercial everybody took a sip and made a wince face. Like,
They spit it back into the can.
It's low carb.
did somebody throw a cigarette in this?
I've done that before. I eat spitting back into the
Well,
can.
that's just it. If you shit thunder, yeah, it's low carb because basically you're just all the net carbs are going right out your inflamed asshole.
Bunch of butts in the beer. Definitely two girls.
They
one
don't
carb.
tell you that in the brochure.
Oh, I hate spitting in the can. What the fuck?
Yeah, usually Mike's just spitting on the can.
I should say I do have a thought from the Iron Sheik on the subject.
Let's hear it.
Oh, yes.
It's just it was 19 hours ago, a mere 19 hours ago. Cold beer and slam dunks. # State Farm.
He is fucking comedy
He's
gold.
fucking awesome.
The Iron Sheik is the fucking best Twitter account
From one
ever.
cheek to another.
Oh my god.
You rock, brother.
He fucking
love
blows
the Sheik.
Wendy's out of the water.
Well, Wendy's is good now, but all they're doing is just picking on McDonald's.
Yeah.
And I think the Iron Sheik is more universal.
Yeah.
I think he speaks.
He goes
everybody's
after
language.
everybody.
Isn't Wendy's putting like McDonald's special sauce at every fucking sandwich or something this week or some shit?
No, it's Burger King.
Oh,
That's
it's
Burger King.
That's it. Thousand Island or some shit.
All right, so what are we thinking here? Really attainable. Obviously, I talk about beer. That's going to happen within the
yeah.
year.
Yeah, that'll happen.
Okay, and Dave named it now, so we've got a whole marketing campaign behind it. But do we have anything else? Like, honestly, like, are we going to see any transitions in pop culture? Are we going to see any transitions in the things that we think are important now but aren't?
I don't know if these. I had a couple thoughts. I don't know if they're attainable, but more things that I think would be nice to see happen. You know, things like seeing our society shift from being completely dug in, like this is one topic that has to be addressed and it's more important than everything else. From that to there are a lot of problems in our society that maybe we need to prioritize and not say we have to fix this and that's it.
Yeah.
Some things need to be addressed. Like I think of like taking care of our veterans. We talked about the healthcare system.
Yes. Exactly.
There's a lot of things that need to be addressed, and I think they need to be prioritized. Immigration's a problem. Whatever your stance on the subject is, it's an issue. It needs to be prioritized, and I think that's kind of where this country loses focus.
That's definitely a good.
I think the first big hurdle is getting everyone's focus away from the fucking Kardashians.
Yes.
Get rid of that whole family so we can focus on something important.
Yeah,
I don't know how many times I research news and I see 4 stories about their fucking dog, some makeup.
fuck?
Yeah.
It's not even
cares? I
just
get so
them.
mad.
I don't blame them for being famous Because honestly, if
Right,
we
it's not
were
their
afforded
fault.
the opportunity, we'd do the
I
same
would
I would do
fucking
this.
thing.
Yeah.
But I gotta say, our fascination with escapism, and you know, we're guilty of it on this show.
No, we are.
Comic
Oh,
books,
absolutely.
movies,
Of course
TV
we are.
shows, we all do it.
Yep.
We all do it.
a
But
huge part of our
the fact that our country is more concerned about what Tekashi 6ix9ine did,
Yeah.
you know, ratting out all his people. Okay, he's going to die in jail within minutes.
Rather
With-
than
yeah.
what
Yeah.
they're doing, they're actually doing.
Why not worry about actual crime prevention? You know, we
you go.
don't worry about these things anymore. We're just focusing on figureheads. You know, I made the fucking Jussie Smollett joke right at the top of the show.
Yep.
Is anybody talking about the fact that this guy has wasted countless hours of law enforcement, legal representation?
shit.
There is real crimes going out there, and he's faking them just to make an example of our president.
And
Yeah.
the taxpayers
Yeah.
are paying for it. We're
Okay,
paying
and you know
for
what? Love him, hate him. I don't really care. I'm not a Trump guy myself, but
it's-
what's right is right.
What's right is
this
right,
guy is
yeah.
trying to make a spectacle of it. He's doing this weird Andy Kaufman thing.
And not only that, well, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yes,
Well,
you did.
Yeah,
Yeah,
totally.
I did. Totally.
Totally meant
But
that.
what I'm saying is, right there,
Hold on, move that thing on your neck out of the way. I can't hear you.
Keeps hitting the mic.
what he's doing is he's generalizing a whole group of people and putting them in a spotlight, saying they're fucking all evil and they're all violent, and I think that if anything, and it is attainable at this point, is maybe for a minute everybody puts a fucking stupid political party aside
Exactly.
and use your own thoughts to say, hey, That's a good idea. That's a bad idea. That's a good
If
idea.
we-
No matter who the fuck says
Well,
it.
Jesse Smollett
If we
should have
could
woken
go-
up that morning and said, "This is a bad idea."
Yeah. You know what?
Okay, he
Fuck
hired
him.
2 of his closest friends.
Yeah.
If
we
you
could
telling
go-
me in Hollywood you can't find 2 random people, 2 wannabe actors that wouldn't have taken that money. No,
right?
let me get
Of
2 guys
course.
I was at the club with yesterday.
Yeah. No, it's
If we could all go
fucking
back,
stupid.
if we could all go back to thinking as we were when we were kids, and how simple, like, something would be, like if it's right or wrong. Kids always know what's right and what's
Yeah.
wrong.
Is that how you ended up as goalie?
I did.
Yeah.
Just put him in there.
Just put him in there. He can take up half of the net anyway.
But his coach got right and wrong, and that's how he ended up as goalie, because he was like, "Is this right? No."
All right.
His coach took the blades out of his skates.
But
But you're right. Like kids, they just it is what it is, and
It
that's
is.
it.
It goes back to the intro.
There's
right
no
back
outside
to the intro.
influence.
Well,
Right?
it needs to the
Damn,
loyalty.
everything just came around.
The
Nice.
loyalty to political parties needs to go away.
It definitely
It
needs,
needs
to
to
go away.
go away
Because no matter how
'Cause
hardcore,
nothing will get done.
if you're a hardcore Democrat, you're a hardcore Republican, you don't have it all. Period.
No,
Nobody does.
You don't have everything. If you're not on everyone's team, then you don't have everything.
no.
And
You know what I'm
by the
saying?
way, that includes the answers.
Yes,
None of
that's
them have
exactly
it.
that's what
None
I'm
of them
talking
have
about.
it.
Is the answers. You have to fucking look at it as yourself and what's right and what's wrong. You're not
Exactly.
stupid unless you listen to this show. But no, I'm just
We
jokes.
lost them somewhere around
It's just
Jerusalem.
But seriously though, man, that's what it's all about now. Now it's like you got to be part of a fucking team, or
Yeah,
you're
it's-
not
it's
relevant.
not-
People get so dug in and focused on being right that they forget about
about
all
everything
the
else.
issues. And they're
It's
so
not a
focused on-
sport
right?
or a
they're-
fucking skilled competition.
Their,
It's like
Nice.
their
It's
personal
not. Good one.
individual feelings take precedence over everything else, and they think because they got elected or whatever their position, we want them to make decisions for us. They should be there voicing the opinion of everybody else.
I mean, you
And
guys,
that's not what happens.
You guys know how, like, fucking what pisses me off, what doesn't. It's certain fucking political things, but it doesn't mean that I'm not gonna stop and think about that, you know, and say, because you can get something out of it, you know. It's
Our concern with it isn't even the affiliation; it's the mob mentality that comes.
No,
with it.
mob mentality.
Mob mentality goes back thousands of years. It's
Yeah.
got nothing to do with modern political affiliation.
One of the biggest idiots in politics right now. What's her name? Ortez.
oh
Well,
yeah,
you-
Cortez or whatever.
Ocasio-Cortez.
Yeah.
Green,
yes.
the green girl.
AOC.
She.
It's funny.
She
Pretty hot,
is.
though. She's pretty cute.
No, she has come up with some fucking stupid shit. But she also came up. I listened to a thing she said in front of the Senate, which was fucking brilliant. And what it was she talked about the Senate and how accepting money from lobbyists and doing this and is so wrong, and it is, you know. And it was the whole fucking speech was fantastic.
It was
that
great.
she did.
I heard that speech.
No, and it was spot on. She
Bro.
was 100% right. She was not wrong.
Oh, she was right.
Then later she said some dumb shit.
No, she was right.
You know?
She would be. It would be a
But-
lot better if she didn't have fucking 10 lobbyists right behind her doing the same fucking
Yes,
thing.
that was the thing.
That's the whole thing.
That was the thing.
That's
Is
what
she
sucks.
did it speaking against lobbyists,
And she didn't come up with any of those ideas. They've been trying to fucking
No,
do that forever.
exactly.
She's just got
But-
a young face, young voice, trying to get. And they try
we
to
voted for
restart it
change.
again.
Her supporters voted
Right.
for change.
Yeah.
And
Change.
now she's saying some stupid, extreme things. Stop me if this reminds you of anybody we know in office.
Right,
So here's-
exactly.
That's
exactly.
exactly the point I was going to make.
Exactly.
She
They're all the
is
same,
a
Brad.
direct reaction
to
the
To
president.
the president. Yep.
You have this
They're
polarizing
always that way.
figure in the White House.
Which
It was
was
inevitable. You were going to
Wh-
get a polarizing figure at the other end of the spectrum from him at some point, and here she is.
Which
Yeah.
and why the president is there is because of the president before him. It was a shift in fucking change.
They go back
That's
and
how
forth. and-
politics are. You got somebody in there, you don't like it, another one comes in. And
that's
Point,
why
counterpoint. Yeah.
right, and
Yeah.
that's
You
the
wanna
thing.
talk
At some
about-
point, you want to get everyone on the same,
same
page, and you've
page.
got to get
That's
them
where-
closer and closer
So how about-
instead of further.
And that's
we
what
talk
I'm still
about
waiting for.
attainable change. How about attainable change? How about term limits in the Senate and Congress?
That is easily attainable.
Makes
You know
sense.
how?
That is
like
the
this
most-
with a signature.
That is the most attainable and
logical
change ever.
makes sense.
I'm sorry.
Ever.
You're not going to eliminate career politicians, but it's going to limit that, and you're going to have.
They'll
fresh
still
blood.
be there as
I'm
advisors.
sorry,
and,
but yeah, no,
you know,
not
but
even. I
still.
wouldn't even keep them as advisors because I mean, what the
Well,
fuck?
you can't make
have
a law against that.
You have somebody in there for 40 years. I'm sorry. No, because you get too comfortable in a spot like that, and you see more and more people fucking trying to corrupt you, and the longer you're in there, the easier it is to fall into that trap.
Of course.
And it happens over and over.
And not
it
only that,
happens
they're
every time.
And they're muscled into decisions.
Yes.
Because it becomes a group thing inside the Congress. Oh, this one has the power to do this. Oh, you want that passed in your bill? Well, you're gonna have to agree to this. And it's a game. It's a game.
Not a sport, just a game.
Just a game.
Okay.
A skilled competition.
Skilled is kind of questionable. Throw in there.
But who are the judges?
All right, fuckers. You know what? We're getting way, way too heavy.
No.
Some would say it's kind of a heavy flow day.
Oh boy, where are we going?
All right. So since he's the new guy, Dave, we got any tampon news?
I'm sorry. I was asking this girl if she wanted to taste the tuna. What was that?
Taste the tuna.
Tuna
Taste the
just keeps
tuna.
on giving.
As a matter of fact, Brad, yes, there's more tampon news.
Outstanding. What happened this week, Dave?
Apparently, some woman found a fish hook in her tampon. Fish
Lies. I don't believe it.
First of all, I don't know why she was digging around so much in a tampon looking for such a thing.
Exactly.
I don't think you have to dig. If you got a legitimate fish hook in there, you'll know.
That's true. I don't know how she got it out.
That's the question right there. Is how did she get it out? That's
Isn't that
fucked up.
why they call it the Playtex Simply Gentle Glide? Because tearing your meaty walls wasn't going to do it.
Call them Playtex barbed.
Barbed.
Jesus.
They won't slip out.
That's for damn sure.
So,
You ever have any of those uncomfortable slip outs?
How about uncomfortable non-slip outs? What the fuck? I don't know, man. That sounds like a bunch of bullshit, though. I mean, I don't know. And she's fucking suing the company?
she took pictures. There's a fish hook inside of this big fucking ball of cotton inside the shit. And
Well, wait a minute, though.
Well-
So she hadn't used it.
no,
Okay.
No, that
No.
was the thing.
Yeah,
That
she
was
hadn't
like,
used it.
Exactly.
She took
correct.
pictures.
You-
The company
How-
said, send it to us so we can investigate further, like the normal protocol.
yeah.
So
Vertical.
Did you say pervertical?
Oh my God, kid.
damn it.
The pervertical.
I want you to take this thing that was intended for right up your snatch. I want you to make it smell like you, and then wrap it up in an envelope and send it up. Send it to our PU box.
No, it's funny. It's already scented. You could use it as a fucking fly fishing lure.
Yeah, no shit. You catch some fucking massive fucking fish on that thing.
Get some
The
Catholic
Kotex jump
monkfish.
pad.
Monkfish. Oh, what the fuck? But
That's what they used in the Meg
So-
sequel.
I mean,
So I gotta say, for me, the worst part of this story is the very last line. They go through it like anyone bought a defective product. They talk to the company like normal procedure. The very last line, this woman says, "And I'm never going to use a tampon again." And I was like, "Whoa, pump the brakes, easy,
Hold on, Lee.
do something, right?
Well, in that sense,
Get a sheet, find a sheep, do something."
in that sense, the fish hook
Seaweed.
already worked because they caught the smell.
She's like, smile, you son of a bitch.
Playtext's official response: "You're gonna need a bigger boat, man."
Yeah.
But that's what called me about the story. Was the last line.
she's the only person
Never
I
using
know.
a tampon again.
It was a total.
The rest of the world suffers.
It's 100% lie. She's lying. She
Yeah.
put that fish hook in there because if it's inside of its gentle glide
the
sleeve
fuck do
and all
you
this stuff.
notice
How
it?
did you find that?
Did you
Yeah.
like dismantle
You know
it
what I mean?
before you
Yes,
put
when
it
it's
in?
coming out, you probably look at it before you shove something up into the most tender part
I
of your
wouldn't.
body.
If I had a vagina, I'd just be
She's the only-
sticking things in it all day.
She's the only girl I know that goes to fucking Lucky Bait down the street to fucking buy tampons.
Craig's talking in what ifs.
If Craig had a vagina, I wouldn't eat produce within 20 miles of here.
If Craig had a vagina, neck thing would be smiling.
If Craig had a vagina,
try to
you'd be
shove
fucking
neck
living
thing in
here.
Or fucking drowning.
We'd be calling it waist deep thing instead of neck thing.
All I was thinking was that I'd be using that as my primary Christmas ornament the following year.
Bloody hooks. Bloody hooks hanging from the tree.
I snorted.
Not a
Every
hook.
time the string dangles,
hope-
an angel gets his wings. All right, can we wrap this fucking thing up?
Yeah,
wrap it up.
Let's
I-
take this home.
I don't think we're going to ever top tampon news with that.
No.
All right, we got a little housekeeping going on. We'd like to throw a shout out to somebody we haven't in quite some time, but somebody I had the opportunity to reconnect with this week. Clay Miles.
Yes.
From Clay Miles in the motherfucking basement.
Clay in the motherfucking basement.
That's right. He does that to our show. We're going to do it to his.
You gotta hook us up with some of them damn cigars, man. You look like you fucking enjoy those things way too much by yourself.
right.
Okay.
That's all I have to say. Those fucking, I mean, you know.
No, I was just giving you room to breathe there. You good? Yeah. That was a lot of words for 1 second.
Sorry.
No, Clay's a good guy. We kind of lost touch. Clay's been busy. He's working.
Yeah, he's working.
doing a lot of shows. You know, he's a stand-up comic.
He's traveling.
He's traveling. He's killing it. He's hitting all your major third and fourth rate markets all around the country.
Yeah.
So if you're in Des Moines,
He'll be doing our show
go
soon.
find him. Go
Yep.
find him. Clay Miles will probably be there.
So
Nah,
he'll be
he's
doing
doing
our
it
show
up.
soon? Is that what you're saying?
Well, no,
No.
we're at like a
He said second and third.
sixth level
Oh,
market.
okay.
Yeah. Nah, he's doing good, man.
He's doing real good. We're real proud of him.
for you,
We
brother.
are still a part of the Damaged Goods Network, and Clay's a big part of that. So we want to give a
Yes.
shout out to everybody, but especially to Clay because we've been chatting. So that's about that. We don't have any songs this week. Social media is the same at NTS_podcast on all your major social media networks. Also, I want you all to keep an eye out for a new website for us. It's going to happen.
Yes,
it's going
it's
to happen
happening.
soon, and we'll
Yep.
announce it here. We're going to centralize our operations.
Yep.
Sounds good. And no, it's not just because Dave is here and we're afraid he's going to fucking screw something up. No,
Yeah, it is.
I'm taking my tampon news elsewhere.
I guarantee he shows up on Stern next week. Dave
He's up on
Tex.
Fire TV Kotex Network.
I went fishing and caught a bunch of regret.
Hemorrhaging with Dave. All right. Well, we don't have any songs this week. We don't have any other announcements. Anything, boys?
Needless to say, we said it.